afternoon, wherever you may be when you find this video. I'm gonna do my makeup today. I'm gonna do my brows, but we are going to start from beginning to end. And I got something I kind of want to try, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna try it. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Is it doesn't work. So I'm going in with my e.l.f. Stay Cool Primer Stick. Use that for go under and in the area. It's really, it feels good on your skin. Take a brush, get a little puff or something, just to kind of get it in there. I don't have time to wait for it to super dry because I'm putting that, oh, I hate when I get new puffs. But I'm going to put that primer stick on. But then I'm going to go in with some primer. Another one. So, let's see which one will we use today. You know what? It was crazy because in Walmart, they lost business. And not losing business because it's Walmart, but losing business because you ever run into the store and you want something, but it's like it wasn't easily accessible. So I needed more eyeliners, and I was like, oh, while I'm here, I'll grab a double pack of the e.l.f. eyeliner. Well, they have it on lockdown at Walmart now, and I just don't really. I was with someone, so number one, it was like, well, this guy not gonna get that. But number two, it was like, I guess I gotta go through security to get an eyeliner, a little $5 eyeliner. And I say little, but I guess staff is big, so I could understand why. I'm just letting that kind of sit in my face. Why, but I'm going to put some more primer. This is the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. I'm going to actually put that on my face, the brush, to get it where I want it. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't, but I'm going to put it under my calamine. So again, people's like, oh, you put the calamine on, but you don't use it as primer. And I'm like, the calamine is actually my third layer. So I'm just putting a little thin, a little extra grippy. And I just like to paint it on. A little extra grippy for my makeup. The biggest thing about makeup is what you do for underneath the skin. I always was like, when you moisturize, especially with your makeup, let it sit for a little while and get into your skin. Don't just go throwing makeup on top of it. Let it get in your skin and settle. Because I know good and well. Good morning, Ava. How are you? Avia, how are you? Did I pronounce that right? I hope you're well. Anyways, good afternoon. So, I'm just going to put that on there because what I'm going to let, now this one I'm going to let sit just a little bit just to get that little tacky feeling. And good morning. If you're on the live, you guys don't forget just to subscribe. And thank you so much for coming in because I know you could have been doing a million other things this morning, but you're just kind of looking at me like, let's see what she's going to do. My little trick that I like to do, especially depending on what I'm going to do with my brows, is the little pump it up hack. And I really don't think it's just pump it up. I think you can pretty much take um, any hairspray, because you know how people put the powder in their eyebrows. I think you could just take pretty much any hairspray. And I know I just had 2 spoolies. Sometimes I'm prepared. Sometimes I'm not prepared. A lot of times I'm not prepared, but most times I'm, you know what I'm trying to say. Prepared, unprepared. So I just put a little bit of pump it up which you could probably do any hairspray. And it's going to dry out right in that eyebrow area. You know, a lot of times when people do their brows, they put powder on. Well, I've learned that hairspray, it holds those hairs into place where you want them, and it dries it out where you want it to dry out. So see how my hairs were all a little crazy over there? Well, we found a way to get them nice and neat over there. So I'm just gonna go in there like that and such. Put a little pressure on it too to get those hairs. Do you have any advice on self harm? That's a big question. How about not do it? You are very important and unique, and whatever is ailing you, therapy would be nice, but whatever is ailing you, it too shall pass. Nothing is worth harming yourself because I'm sure there's a lot of people who really, really love you, and God loves you. So, Kendra. So with that, we're just gonna. I don't have to do the fanny thing. I do have a fan. Um, I was just letting that primer, that grip primer sit, and it's under my eyes, a good primer. Um, a little hack that I learned recently was taking your primer for your eyes and putting it under your eyes, which is a game changer for me. For me, not for you, for me. If you try it and it works for you, then look at God, won't He do it? So, anyways, I bought a Revolution. It's a Relove. It's a blur stick. So I'm going to kind of wait till my primer dries, and I'm going to go over with the blur stick and see if it blurs. Oh, well, you're 12. I think what we think we can't tell our parents, sometimes we can, and no one should have to go through it that along. School counselors, people like that, I think that might be a good start, and it is, and to report it. Sometimes we hide bullying because even as adults, I get bullied on lives, and I get bullied by people behind the camera because they're mean, and I'm fat, and I'm a fat black woman doing makeup. And if I was a skinny black woman, it might be less, different. But for the most part, people hide behind that because of their own insecurities. So getting help or going to someone and letting them know. So trying to do something about it. But sometimes what we think we can't tell our parents, we actually can because they do love us. And that's one thing they don't want to stand for. But if you feel you can't tell your parents because of who you are and you'll be considered an outcast, um, then that's different. So, but no, I'm not a professional on bullying, but I know I've been there. Oh, yeah. Well, then that's where you'll go to school counselors and maybe see if you can get some help and look in your area for hotlines, and see if you could talk to someone. I mean, that's the best I could say because, bullying is like unfortunate, but it happens. But nothing enough to late your life because guess what? Bullies go away. They grow up to be nobodies, and you grow up to be something great. Plus, God loves you. Well, that's all the advice I have, unfortunately, baby. So, okay, and I know you guys are like, what is she doing with this big old eyebrow? But I'm just gonna make it extra dramatic today. Um, I hope you find exactly what you need, Kendra. And remember, you are loved and very special. Very, very special. Don't let anyone tell you this different. No matter what you do or who you are. Hi, August. How are you, babe? You're waiting for me to go live? You know what? I was going to go earlier, but something in my little spirit was like, wait a little bit. And I was like, I don't want to go too early before I had to go to work. So I was like, oh, okay. I kind of want to do a green on the end of the brow, but I'm not feeling, you know what? There's an old green that I really like. It's in my James Charles palette. And I have a little bit left, and I think I'll do it on the end of the brow. And you know when you have that one, that means it's time to get another palette that you really like. When you have that one, I guess I hope you're doing very well today, and thank you for coming into my. Oh, I almost forgot. We're going to use the profusion. I'm going to put more than a dibble dabble. We're going to put a pea-size amount. Oh, the graveyard. I do not miss it. I do not miss working the late nights trying to stay up. I don't miss it. Still trying to get um, readjusted to my new 3 to 11. But when I tell you, I don't miss the night. My sleep was so discombobulated, and it is now. But I don't miss the night. I like the days because then I can get on, and it's just like, oh. So we're going to do accent brow this one, and we're going to do accent brow over here because why not? Why be basic when you could be extra? I didn't know how thick I wanted my brows today, so we just went above and beyond that one. Yes. And that's why I say God loves you. Thank you, Avia, for that. I really appreciate you chiming in on that. You know, it's so many things, even at my big age, and getting on live and just trying to get on live. You have naysayers, you have bulliers, and unfortunately, um, those are people with their own insecurities. Like, people who talk about people and have no reason other than I just don't like them. They've never done anything to me in life. I'm just gonna do something to them. It's just their own insecurities. And you know what? Sometimes you just gotta pray for the bullies. Because guess what? Maybe something in their heart is not right. The perfusion. This is perfusion. Let me just tell you something about perfusion. I don't know where it's big at, but it's really the bomb makeup. It really is. And I forgot wearing extensions, y'all. I've been patting my hair, and it's like pat, 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 tap, tap, tap. I'm so tired of patting my hair. Um, but yeah, bullies, they just exist, unfortunately. And then you have to think like their own ways. It's just them. Unfortunately, something in their heart. But just pray for them because sometimes people can't love what they've never had. That's all. And when you never had something, how can you show it to other people? And sometimes it's all they're taught negative, mean, hateful stuff. And if that's all you're taught, then that's all you'll know. So I'm taking the remnants of this green. Oh. And shout out to my beautiful niece, Azra. She's one of my biggest fans, and I love her. And I just know that she'll end up watching the video eventually. So we throw that in there. I know when she's watched the video because she'll respond slaying. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm just going to tap a little bit and see if I can just kind of blend those greens to really get it a nice green. Brighten it up a little bit more. So I'm using two different greens just to kind of give it a pop. I guess it'll be, there we go. And I'm just going in because I don't know how big I'll want it once I curve it out. But we know we want a nice, good, juicy brow. I can't do the little thin brows. I feel like my face is too big. Way too big. And thank you guys. If you're watching, don't forget to subscribe to the channel It is totally free. There should be a link that hits to my Instagram. Also, don't forget the Instagram, the YouTube link. Tanisha Edwards on the link tree, and there is everything in there. We're just gonna give it another little pop out. Once that carves out, it's gonna look amazing. So yeah, I did let my TikTok world know, and don't forget if you stop by, guys, just to throw in a little like my TikTok world know that I was like, yeah, I'm going to YouTube tomorrow. Like I gotta learn to balance my whole social media life. It's a lot to balance. If you're going into social media, it is not for the weak-hearted. It is a balance. Just putting it out there. I was gonna use. I do have the super stay. I am gonna go in with the super stay, but I wanted the. I guess it really doesn't matter which color super stay I use. This is the Maybelline 30-hour super stay. And if someone says, "Well, do you have a favorite makeup?" I don't. Revlon, Color CoverGirl, Maybelline. Um, those are just makeup brands that haven't disappointed us yet. That has kept us grounded. I don't know what I don't know what makeup artist would not have one of these brands somewhere. And don't forget, I did put the e.l.f. primer on my face. So what I'm going to end up doing is going over with the calamine. I'm trying to keep from getting the green on. You guys, don't be afraid to say hello. I hope you guys are really having a good day. Um, with growth is definitely like exciting because if you guys don't know, my first lives was like literally zero, and I was like, just do it because this is what you're supposed to do. And then it's kind of like when I got on YouTube, and it was at like 5 or 6 people, and now between 50 and 500, it's sometimes good, sometimes it's low, but for the most part, you're being seen. So just know that. Ooh, that's gonna be a cute eyebrow, and I'm definitely gonna highlight it. I think I'll bring it down. I wanted a bold brow, but I don't know how bold I want it. I'm bringing it down just a little bit more. It's something about the little tip, about the color on the end. It just gives it a whole big feel. You sure can, August. August, you already know. If you're watching for TikTok, this is always going to be a safe space. You can always vent. We're here. And when I say we're, because there will be people watching, and you know what's going on with you. There we go. And you guys, if you follow me on TikTok, any real questions or anything you have, it's always, my DMs are always open. There we go. Now, ooh, that green. That green. And even though it's a very close makeup look, this will not be my final look. So we're gonna go on that other brow. This is my this brow is always a struggle for me, trying to make sure they match. And if you know me, if you know anything, you know people say eyebrows should be sisters, not twins. Biggest lie. Biggest lie. Don't let people lie to you. And I'll always keep using me and my sister as an example. We don't look anything alike. Well, we do in our own little way. You might can tell in the eyes that we're sisters. But as far as skin complexion, weight, height, no. I don't want eyebrows that look like me and my sister. Because I'm going to be disappointed. And, I'm like, no, I'm not. We're not. But we like a good pow brow. And of course, I'm going in with a uni. The unibrow just gives me symmetry, and it gives me to know that my brows are actually twins. They don't have to be identical, but they need to be born on the same day. This one's a little bit thicker, which I'm going to end up changing because, mm, well, you want them to be exactly as close as, listen, you want your eyebrows to be as close to identical as possible. You don't want them to be sisters. Huh. I think you're perfect. Whatever you decide to do or whatever you would like to be. And I think, especially when you look at certain things, I had to come to terms. People say I was born this way. And I had to come to terms with some medical things. And like, you know what? I think there can be mix ups. So I get when people say they were born that way. But whatever makes you comfortable, I think I think God has bigger things to worry about, um, and how you treat people and how you carry yourself. That's just me. I think we have choices in life. What makes you happy is very important. But I'm glad that you found comfort into being who you are because that's very important. If you weren't comfortable with that, being who you were, that would be uncomfortable. I have friends that have said they hated being a man, they hated, or they hated being a woman, and they found themselves in comfortable life, roles. And it's just like, hey, I'm all for whatever makes you happy. I mean, don't go off and, unalive somebody. I've heard that, and it just depends. But, because if you do, I gotta love you. I'm not sending commentary, but I'm still gonna love you for who you are, as long as you don't hurt me. But yeah, I've heard that too. But then again, it's gonna all boil down into, are you truly happy? That's definitely going to be, are you truly happy with who you are and what you stand for? Someone last night, it was like, oh, they were just talking and they was telling me how they felt on something. And it's kind of like being a lady of the night. Okay? We use that example because a child might watch this. And you're a lady of the night, and that's the career path that you went down. Does it make you happy? Usually it's not legal. I'm just getting some of that. But are you safe? Are you comfortable? And then it turns into what makes you happy. So I'm happy for you, August. What you decided is what made you happy. None of us are perfect. We all fall short in the eyes of God. I know I do. I know I do because I'm a sailor. Um, yeah, I had a little family situation where I wanted to call up someone. Yeah, and I've heard, August, at the end of transgender surgeries and things like that, people having a lot of medical problems. So I get that you do what made you healthy and made you feel healthy, which is a good thing. So I had a little family gossip, you know, is that's what we're gonna call it, gossip. And God knows I want to call the family member and say, why did you say this? But you know what? Growth and God keeps me from retaliating. You know what I mean? Yeah, I heard that. Hey, Skittles, how are you? Okay, Ava? Yeah. Am I saying that Avia? Because I want to say Avia. But I feel like, sometimes people say, well, God this and God that. And we all fall short. We all fall short of the glory. Just remember that. None of us are perfect. I just don't know, what they say, he without sin, please cast the first stone. You know, I'm just gonna go in and kind of pull that in there. So we're gonna So yeah. Skittles, how are you today, honey? You guys don't forget to give a like and make sure you're subscribing to the page, to the YouTube. I feel like these are some good brows. This is a little greener in that area, but it'll get covered by some foundation a little bit. But I feel like these are good brows, which of course, the girl's gonna highlight because number one, we highlight because we did not go through the trouble of having these awesome brows and not highlight. No, we did not. You can't have good looking brows and highlight. You just wanna show the world your brows. Okay, I'm always losing something, and I'm okay with that. You know, as long as I didn't lose my mind. Well, yeah. Sometimes we lose that, but don't judge. And August, trust me, will be always in our prayers, just for peace and you know. I just can't judge people on the life that they choose. I don't have uh anything. I have so many issues. Like nope, not gonna do that. I get aggravated when people judge people, and I'm thinking like people just forget where they came from in life and they judge. And we're not all so blessed to have that. Hmm. That's the way of putting it, blocking your blessings. Yeah, and you should feel that way. You're entitled to feel that way. I just, but for anyone else who I don't look at it like that. I just look at it what makes you happy, and we're all just gonna have something, and if that's the case, then no one would be blessed, because we all fall short. We all do something. I don't think God looks at it. People always say, "Well, I don't want to block your blessings." Sometimes you see people get blessed, and you just think they're the awful, most awful people. But then again, sometimes God only knows your. Well, I wouldn't say God knows your heart. It's what they taught us growing up. God knows your heart. He sees and he hears everything, and we don't know. Sometimes we think people are awful, but we really don't know what they go through. Okay, I just want to darken that up a little bit. So, yeah, so don't go against. I get it, not wanting to go against what you were born. Um, and with that being said, you said, nope, I'm going to go with this, but just make sure you are 100% happy. Because when you're happy, you can treat others. When you're content and you're comfortable, you can be a blessing to others. Okay. But thank you. I really appreciate you being very transparent, because sometimes you never know who's watching, and people be struggling through stuff, and this live will be, it's recorded, so you just never know who's going to see that and need that encouragement. Just remember to love, you know what I mean? Love is like, this is really good feeling when you love on people. And clearly, this brow right here is getting on my nerves. I feel like it's a little bit lower, but I want to make it a little bit darker right in that top, just right here in this area. So I'm just going to kind of add up on that right there. Da-da-da. Try again, pronounce it out. Pronounce it out. I missed that. I don't know if it's something I said. I always tell people I have no heaven or hell to put anyone in. You're right. That is true. Medications are hard, but you know what? I guess in a sense, I guess you know what, that it goes with me being a fat woman. I've had people, well, why don't you do surgery? Why don't you get this? I'm okay without the medications. I'm okay without being cut open for anyone who does. To each his own. I hope safe for you, and I'm gonna let this dry out a little bit. I hope the best for you, but I don't want to go in with. So I definitely get what you're saying. I don't want to. Um, I definitely don't want to. Just me personally, don't want to. I'm putting a little of that pink under my eye because I just feel like I'm not ready to risk my health. And I know people say, well, you're fat or whatever, and that could risk your health. I get it, but there's things and what do you call there? Other things that could come from surgeries and medications. So I'm just not ready to put my health. I don't have bad health. I don't have high blood pressure. I'm not a diabetic, so I just don't want to risk that. I've been trying to actually eat better, but you know how that works sometimes. I think my biggest problem is I don't eat enough, to be honest. People think, oh, you're big, you just sit around and eating. No, I don't. I got this way from having 4 children back to back to back, nonstop, and I just blew up one child after another. And I got comfortable in my life, and I was just focusing on taking care of the kids and not focusing on myself. So, but I don't see myself having surgery. I know many people who've done it, people who are on Ozempics and things like that, but I'm good without all of that. If it works for me to eat better, so be it. I try every now and then. I do pass the gym from time to time on the way to Starbucks or something. Pass the gym. I mean, it was a thought that the gym was a thought in my mind. How about that? Lolly has a string, and if you remember, I told you guys about Lolly. Lolly is my trusty brush. So I definitely get it. Lolly is my trusty brush. And clearly, oh, she's been with me a long time, but she has a string. And I'm just going to cut her because the lights show it, and the string actually gets in the way of me doing my makeup the way I want it. If you guys are on the live, just tap a like. Don't forget to subscribe. Queen1976 for the Instagram. Tanisha Edwards for the YouTube. Oh, LadyT for the YouTube. Tanisha Edwards for Facebook. I gotta put my link tree in the bio. I just have to. I just, I don't know why I haven't done it. But by the time I go to work and get off my live, whether it be YouTube or TikTok, and the time I go to work, I'm looking at the bed as my best friend. I'm like, you ever look at the bed when you get off of work and you're just like, boy, you look delicious. It's one of those moments where you're like, do I even want to eat? Sometimes when you're hungry after you get off work, or do you want to sleep? Where you pick the struggle. I'm just not wasting that. And I had a pretty big amount of concealer on the back end of my hand, and I don't want to waste it. I'm gonna go over that top too, though. So we'll definitely highlight it because this one's a little crooked. And one thing I don't do, I ain't having no crooked eyebrows. There we go. Just gonna bring that out just a little bit because we don't want them to be crooked. I had to pull my weave back today because when I tell you, I haven't worn extensions in a long time. So these are really getting on my last nerve. But I guess, eventually my locks will show. I feel like this weekend I want to color my hair I get so nervous about coloring it. I want those brows to be almost perfect. Thank you guys for giving a like. Okay, yes. Oh, cookies. I had such a craving yesterday, though. I didn't eat dinner. I didn't eat anything yesterday till about, mm, it had to be about 7 o'clock. And it was just one of those days where life was just going by, work and everything. And being that I still don't have the ability in my new apartment to cook, it was like, you know what? I don't have a clue what those are. I keep hearing about them and people say that, but I really love my community on my TikTok and I really love to grow a community on YouTube. I love the just of meeting people and talking to people. And I feel like we get into these safe zones. It's crazy. I've been on my TikTok for a while. And it's just like, oh, it's the zone of safe, but it's like trying to remember everybody. And everyone says, you should do this. Like Christmas, when I started, we did a reading of the night before Christmas. It was really nice. But I don't know I just like getting on my makeup and having fun and getting ready for work. Oh, I do. I'm at, I think I have about 36,000 followers on my TikTok. And we don't follow. Once we are together, we become like a really good community. So it's like, we're in there like swimwear. So I have been telling my TikTok community to make sure they follow because I try to come over because I want to grow my YouTube. And it is just, it's been a blessing, honestly. I'm not even gonna, be ungrateful. Things happen, and when they do, they do. Okay, these are gonna be the brows. Today, when I cut them, they're going to be cut pretty nice. But right now, these are what is. Hi, Math Band, I don't know what. It's OMG. But can you just say hi and then say damn? Like, can you just be like, oh, hi? And then be like, what the? Like, can you be polite first and then be mean? And I hope you're having a really amazing day first before I say something really rude or something to you or anything. Ugh, gosh, I hate to be rude, but it happens because people come on, they get rude to me. You say something to me, I say something to you, then we're just back and forth, and it's just I don't want to do that. Can we not today? Maybe tomorrow, next week. It's up to you. Oh, so I just put pigment primer, which I'm going to actually do under my eye. I'm just going to put some eyeshadow primer. This is Perfusion eyeshadow primer. It's a neutral color. And I'm going to put it under my eye and on my lid. I'll probably put it a little heavier on my lid this morning. But a little hack is putting an eyeshadow primer under your lid. So when you put your concealer on, it doesn't cut. So I'm just putting a little bit on and I'm just going to kind of warm it to my face and let it sit. When I put my calamine on, and any color, I usually like a colored brow. I think it's something about a good colored brow just gets me. And then people say, why are your eyebrows this color? Well, why are yours not? So I'm just going under there. And remember, I did put primer on here. So I'm just kind of warming it up under my eye before I put any concealer on. It was a little hack, and I was just like, oh, and it helps with creasing. So just a little eyeshadow primer. I'm gonna get Lolly and go. No, the calamine is what I'm gonna put on in a moment. The calamine I use, this is just primer. The calamine I use to keep my skin from being super oily. I'm a very oily person, so I use the calamine definitely for that purpose of just not be oily. So I'm just gonna go in because I'm gonna let my primer sit. And this is eyeshadow primer, of course. Just gonna put a nice little layer. But it's just gonna help with the colors that I'm gonna pick. And it's gonna help them pop out a little bit. I'm gonna go a little bit higher up than that, right there in that crease today. Just because I'm gonna pick something and I want it to pop. And I'm not gonna bring it all the way over to the end. Just so when I put that lighter color right in that corner, it's just gonna pop out. I call it a ghetto cut crease. You don't gotta worry about, the thing about cut crease, my daughter's like, oh, your line should be neater or this should be neater. How about if I just like it, I like it. Shout out to my daughter, but don't forget to go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. And again, Lolly is doing her job, her due diligence. Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna go out a little bit over like that. I'm just gonna make it a little heavier. Just because I'll put a light color here and I just want it to look good. But I let my primer sit and it's on my face, so it's kind of tacky, which the grip primer gives like a tackiness to it, which I'm good with. And then we'll go in with calamine. I think I'm low on the calamine, but it really lasts a long time. I'm just gonna take a nice little thin layers of calamine. And because I have primer on, I consider my calamine like a third layer. When we moisturize our face, we put our primer on, which gives us that little bit of grip and keeps us from being oily also. Yes, of course. So we definitely are going to, there you go, put that calamine on. And calamine is thin, so it's gonna give like it gives like a powdery feeling, very soft. People ask, is it dry? And it doesn't. It's not dry. It is a drying lotion, but it's for your skin for apparently a million other things, other than what I knew. I was thinking chicken pox and makeup, and now sunburn, and so keep your bottle handy. Oh, you know what? You wrong for August. I haven't. That sounds really good. Me and a girl in work was sitting there last night, and she was hungry. She was getting off, and I'm like, I really could go for some good chicken wings. And she was like, we should order chicken wings. It's like, first of all, we should not. Bad influence. But the girl started, someone else heard us, and they were talking about a raspberry chicken wing. I said, a raspberry. And they said, yeah. So I'm thinking like a Thai chili. Have you ever had like a Thai chili chicken wing? So, yeah. And no, A lot of people say, do you let the calamine dry? It dries really, really quickly, the calamine lotion. Super, super quickly. Um, so by the time you put it on your face and you look up, you're dry. So I'm just gonna get a small brush because I'm gonna highlight under my eyebrows because I just don't see me not highlighting under the brows. I'm gonna go with this coral. Ooh, do I want no? I'm just gonna go with this coral palette. It's a Ruby Kisses. If you live close to like one of those hair supply stores, I always say one of those little hood hair supply stores, you gotta have definitely go to them and get some of their products because they always have like the best products and they're dirt cheap. I shouldn't say dirt cheap because then they'll probably raise prices like Elf. I'm so disappointed with Elf. Elf keeps raising products pricing, and it's like, Elf, we see you. We're supporting you. We love you, but you don't have to keep raising prices on us. Yeah, it'll actually it already records and it'll post later. Once I'm off, you could go back. That's the thing I like about YouTube because YouTube it will go back. No, you know what? No, I used to do things with the kids, but my niece and my nephew live somewhere different now. So it's like, nah, we're good. I do miss it. My son said I can't say the kids. I'm like, what am I supposed to say? They're younger than me. But you know how children tell you what you can and cannot say? Yeah, I got those kind of kids. Can't say kids. What is it, little people? What age do you have to stop saying the kids? I don't know. Sorry. I'm an adult and they're kids to me, so I gotta say the younger generation. The little people. He told me that this morning. You can't say kids, Mom. You know, there is something in my eye. It's probably a little hair or something because it's so annoying. But I was just thinking this morning, sometimes you realize how life has changed for you and where you have come from. And I remember when the children were little, I didn't have a car when my kids were little, and I would walk. Yes, I do around noon. I will walk to the grocery store and buy groceries and walk home with the groceries. Rain, sleet, or snow, that was just how you had to get groceries. Well, how I had to get groceries. And I remember um, it was crazy because today, as my car sat in the driveway and my son picked me up to go get food and things from Walmart, it was just a blessing to see how things have changed. And sometimes we sit here in life and we're like, will this change? Will this ever change? Things do change in our timing, and you have to look back and say where you have been, where you come from, and where you are not going. So, yeah, definitely highlighted that because what's going to happen is I'm going to end up. So, there is a word, and I'll say it too because I'm just going to put a little bit more right there. I use it and I know it's going to come out. The word is going to come out. The word is puzzling. And I will tell you that I puzzle in things when I want to go in. Like certain things. I'm like, no, we're gonna puzzle that in. And all it's just my word and we're just pushing that in. You know when you like, oh I hate swiping. It'll blend out really pretty, but we're just puzzling it in to kind of fit. We're just packing it and pushing it in. But I call it puzzle because it's first of all I love puzzles, but it's just that point where you're just like, we're just gonna push that in and let the brush push into it. So you're gonna think I blended, or you're gonna think I blended it. You will look and see, oh, she blends. No, sometimes she puzzles. And it definitely is my word, and I have made it very clear on TikTok. Um, it's going to be one of those things. What do you say? Tanisha said we puzzle in our makeup. And we're going to go on this side too. And we're just puzzling that too. Pushing it up in there and packing it in. Da-da-da-da. I'm just doing that. And I'm just going to kind of, I'm going to end up taking that where it's going to be at a slant. Because I swear, when I do makeup, that straight line, it gets on my nerves. So it's just like a straight line. So I'm just slanting that. And we're just doing it like that. So it's kind of a slant, and we'll just get that aside. Just like a slant. So it'll be a little bit more on the bottom. It won't be a straight line. It annoys me, that little straight line. It's like, why do we have this one straight line? But we're going to push that in. We're just going to puzzle that in. Push it in, push it in. Woosa. Get another brush. Ooh, that's an angle brush. We don't want that one. I want kind of a flat brush, but something with a nice, yes, so something a little smaller. But this is going to be the kicker, because I'm going to go in with the lighter color right here, and I'm going to pack that in and puzzle it in, and I'm going to go up here. Right in there. That's why I kept the, and we're going to puzzle that in at an angle. And when I say at an angle, it's going to mean it's kind of like a butterfly effect. So it's not like a straight line. So it's just like a butterfly effect. So we're just going to push out in there. And instead of you seeing a straight line, it's got like an angle. So we'll just push it out in there. And then what we'll do is we're just going to kind of blend that in with a little hand. And but we're just kind of pulling that out in that angle. Oh, this is that was one of those kind of things where I just wanted to talk about children and things, and sometimes your kids will make you laugh, and you find yourself, you know what? I didn't know who read that. People have read it, but or listened to who the fuck is this these, and it was just telling little funny stories and quirky kid stories about the things that my kids had did over the years, and you just kind of wonder like who raised them, and it's just little things you're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this happened. Like I think who the kids when I said, so if you've never been on my page, so there's some things. It's called Who the Kids Is These, and I told a series of um, stories, short stories, and introduced the world to my children as far as like, I can't believe these kids did this or whatever. So that's what it was, and it was just telling different little just memories with the stuff that kids do. Like one of them were um, my son James, and I'll never forget. Um, James has always been an eater, but he knows how to cook, and he would sit here. So one day, I'm sitting here. I'm literally on sleeping. It could have been earlier than 6 in the morning, and the next thing I know is I felt a presence. You feel something sometimes. So I felt a presence next to me, and I roll over, and there's James at the age of 4, possibly, and he's got his thumb in his mouth because he was a little thumb sucker. And he goes, "Mommy, I'm hungry." And I'm just like, boy, go to sleep. Like, why are you bothering me? So it's just one of those moments where you're like, whose child is this? Like, who raised you? Why are you here? So it was different little stories, um, and it's just like, why are you here bothering me? So it's funny because it was during the time where Risa Tisa came out with her stuff, and I said, we're gonna make a joke of it, and it wasn't making a joke of her, but it was just how everyone was coming out with these serious stories now and relationships. I said, no, we're just going to talk about truth. So it was kind of funny, um, and it was something to do, but it was just making my community laugh, and we joked. There's a post. Sometimes you can joke with people, and it's so crazy because one of the things that I joke about is how often I'm like, listen, God, I know you said you're coming, but and your timing is perfect. But if you could let a girl know what time you're coming, would be great. Not trying to rush you. You're the big guy. Just kind of want to know when you're coming down. Just want to know. No rush. Who's to rush God? But a girl needs you. No rush. So it's just one of those moments where you're like, God, I'm not trying to rush you, but what time you say you was coming? Okay, we're gonna go with this liquid. This is the Elf liquid liner. I love it. I love it. I love it because I love the fact that it just does what it needs to do, and the this the brushy part. You know what I mean? It glides on very smooth, and it bends. I don't like you get a liner and it does not bend. It's the most annoying thing. Where the brush is hard, and I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. I want to put this across my face. So I'm still debating on a lash. One thing you'll see me struggle with is lashes. I am not the lash queen. For other people, yes. For me, no. I can put on a lash from someone else in 0 to 30 seconds. Um, but when it comes to me, I'm always in a rush with a lash. That's the one thing I will be like, okay, hurry up. And it's like, no, no, no. A crazy experience. I don't know if I have too many. Well, dating my ex, yeah, that was very crazy. Um, but we won't go there. We won't go there. I don't really have too many crazy experiences. I think I've been blessed not to have too many. Um, I was very tomboyish growing up. And I used to see, it felt like I was in the ER all the time because I just did stupid stuff. And I don't know if you guys remember, like a drain cleaner lye, and you used to put it in a drain. And I was one of those curious kids. And I don't use it and say, oh, because I was a fat kid, because I wasn't a fat kid. I was a very skinny kid. But I was curious. Wanted to know what it tastes like. Don't ask me why. I don't have an answer for being a stupid kid at that age or doing stupid things. I'm just doing this because I'm a little, this eye leaks. And I did put my eye drops in. So I decided to taste lye when I was younger. And my mother asked me, had I drink it? And I'm like, no. And my lips were swollen across my face. No, no, no. So luckily, my mother was smart enough to give me milk at the time because she wasn't sure if I drank it. And here I am, face swollen, lying about it at a little age because now I'm like, no, why would I drink it? And I did. And, I got rushed to the hospital and all that. And it was actually, the doctors told my mother it was a good thing that she gave me the milk because here I was, little kid. This is why you don't leave kids alone. Hi, Kendra, how you doing? Because when you leave kids alone, they do things that we are not supposed to do. And I decided to drink the drain cleaner. I just wanted to see what it tastes like. It probably was nasty. I don't remember how much of it I drank. I probably was like, oh, this is not good. But for me, for me, I think I'll go up on this one. It wasn't good. It caused me to get in trouble. They didn't have to pump my stomach. I think that's something you will never forget. But Ginger, how are you today? I do know is a story that I will never forget. I have a technique, and I told my sister this the other day. We had a conversation, and sometimes kids have trauma, and I'm one of those people that were able to just just forget a lot of childhood traumas. But it also blocks out some of my good memories because when you black out a part of your life, it takes other things. So there's things, my sister say, "You remember this?" And I'm like, "Nope." And I used to think I was crazy until I saw a psychiatrist. And I was like, "Nope, you're not crazy." And I'm like, "Won't you do it? Because I'm not crazy." So I do on my TikTok. I talk about a woman who has suffered with depression. I'm not ashamed of it. I talk about things like that. We talk about just being there for yourself, supporting yourself, self care. We talk about those things too. And not just women, but I'm a woman. So we just talk about everything. I really like that wing. I wasn't trying to get it, but this one seems up. So, it's just a lot of things. We talk about religion. We talk about God. We talk about being the best version of us we can be. So I just know that I have a platform. And there are things I feel like a lot of women go through and people in general. And it's nice to just express and put yourself out there because sometimes people think, when you go through things, you're the only one. And it's really not like that. It's a lot of people going through things, and sometimes they feel like they're the only one. They feel alone. This one's a little higher. I'm going to say it's got more of a umph to it, but we'll fix it. So, you know, but for the most part, we talk about so many things on my TikTok that I'll bring over to YouTube because I just feel like it's a world of people who generally go through things. And sometimes we just think we're alone in this world when we're not. And you have to remember, even though you feel like you're the only one going through stuff, there are people going through it. Some people won't admit it. Some people, hey, you on your camera? How you doing? So mad in guys. So it's just, you just be thinking, it's people who go through, and you just try to support them going through their stuff. I'm going in today with CoverGirl True Blend Matte Made. Um, it's a really good blend, and we're just going to blend over that right now. And I'm just taking short strokes, not blending it like I'm just like tapping it in with short strokes and dragging it just a little bit. I usually like full coverage matte foundations. So we're just doing that and just blending it out. Again, the calamine is just going to keep me from later on having that oily look, when your skin gets oily, and it's just going to keep me from having that. So, yeah, if you guys want to go over, Tanisha Evers on TikTok too. Um, we can always follow both. And I'm just going to tap a little bit under there. So, I don't think I want to use any concealer today. I just want a smooth face. It doesn't have to always be total glam, which I don't mind. Sometimes do, and then sometimes I'll get in my feelings. I'm like, oh, but I want to highlight, and so I have this profusion highlight that I'm gonna try. So Sometimes I feel like that's just all you need. Highlighting. How do you see me on your cam? Like, how does that work? So again, it's just little strokes. I don't do, people do that whole thing like they're just painting their face. I just like to get it in and just kind of go in, and I'll bring it down and get that neck area. Because, I tried the turmeric, so it's been working. I got to get some more just to lighten that neck area. And at the time, it was more of a hyperpigmentation thing, not enough water. Because it was a time I didn't even drink water. I'm like, water? What? Why would I do that? It was disgusting. And now I can't stop drinking it. When you start doing something and you realize the benefits of it, it's kind of hard to stop. So, yeah, water is my friend right now. So I'm just kind of packing it in and getting it. I'll be too careful because this red hair will pick up. So it is definitely a matte, and once it starts drying on, it'll mattify. So it looks a little oily maybe now, or the color, but it'll definitely mattify. The thing about me and makeup is when I say a unique self-taught makeup artist with a flair, it's just that I don't do just the regular color. And I just want to be different. But the only thing, and I say with the flair, and I just feel like women think it's so complicated. And people say, oh, it's makeup. And they're like, oh, it's so complicated. And it's really not. It's really taking your time to do what you like. And once you learn certain steps, and you'll be thinking, why didn't I do this a long time ago? I'm big on different colors around, especially around my eye area. I feel like that's where it gets the colors. Like, we're going to pop it and pop. Why do I always turn up my brush the other way? I really like the profusion, and I'm going to tell you why. I won't overspeak, but you know how sometimes you're like, oh, I like this, but I won't over, and you don't want to curse yourself when it comes to certain things. Well, I struggle for a long time with this corner, my makeup always just, my eyeshadow always, no matter what I use, it's like, this eyeshadow, it doesn't lay the way I want. And it's a little bit, I've been letting my eye primer just sit a little bit longer before I do before I do my little stuff, my 1-2s. Has it been working a little bit better? So there's a little green on this brush, but I don't really care because I'm just gonna go in here and tough out and just tap out that and just kind of tap a little bit. But I really do love makeup. Um, it's just, it's like just painting on a blank canvas. So you're like, well, you just do this way. And I always say, no one has to do it a certain way. People always say, why you do it this way? Well, guess what? Someone had to go outside of the box that people would change the way we apply makeup. Someone had to go outside of the box and say, hey, well, let me try it this way. So it's okay to do different. Always, beautiful people always recognize beautiful people. Something about the spirit. So I just feel like people just say, oh, makeup has to be done this way or has to be done. No, it's just makeup. And you can, different techniques create different things. Like, it's like, oh, well, someone did it this way different. And guess what? What happens is they come up with different techniques. Because remember, if we were doing makeup, we'd still be stuck in an era. I think I want to do a lash today because I have time. And also because the way my eyeliner is sitting, So thank you for getting on with me today and just being in the live. I definitely appreciate that. It feels really nice when you have people in the live versus no one at all. But you'll learn, I guess, after a while. It all started even with my TikTok. Like it's like, oh, okay. I just want to make sure there's nothing on that brush. Because I'll get a brush and I'll think I put it in a certain area. And then I'll be like, oh, no, don't use that. Don't use that. Because you got something on it. So I'm just going to go in and just tap that in here. A little foundation. Just tapping it in here just to kind of soften that up a little bit. So the brows don't look so homemade. I mean, I like a homemade brow. If you don't, that's your business. In the great of Tabitha Brown. Oh, I love watching her. One day I'm gonna get all her little kitchen stuff. I'm not a vegan, but when I tell you she makes vegan food look really good. My sister's a vegan. Vegan. I hate to people say they're a vegan like it's a thing. Like, oh, I'm a vegan. No, she eats vegan stuff. I don't want to be like. So I'm just gonna kind of puzzle in a little bit of makeup just to soften up these hard lines. You know, it was a hard line there, just to soften it up so it doesn't look so harsh. You know, like right in there, just a little bit of foundation, just, and then I'm gonna go over there where it's a little damp still. But I don't like the hard lines, so I think that's a good brow. So that's a good brow. I think it's a good brow. Hmm. Okay, Tanisha, you better. And I'm just tapping a little foundation right in there to make sure it's double, because your girl is like, I got those little dark spots right in there. So we're not gonna lose foundation. So I'm just gonna go in under here again. I like using my puffs. I do not like um, using um, blenders. Makeup blenders are so big and gulpy for me. So I'm just gonna put my puff just to use the rest of that foundation. And I'm not looking for a super glam look today. I'm just looking for something a little more subtle. Demure. Not quite, but very demure. So I wasn't looking for a super glam, but I won't powder it up. And you know what the nice thing about the calamine? It kind of gives you that effect. Like it gives you that, but it's just a smooth face. I don't have the thing about changing my face with the highlights. I don't have a sharp nose. This is my big fat girl nose. I got these lips, so I don't contour. People say, "Oh, why don't you contour?" Because I don't want to change my cheekbones. It changes who I look like. I don't change those parts of me. When I've done makeup for people, I don't mind contouring for them. If they tell me something like I want this to look a little, and it gives them that wow factor, which is fine. It's just not what I like for me, for myself on my face. And that's the thing about makeup. You got to go with, you know, I hear, I see videos and they're like, when the client tells you they don't want to contour, or they tell you, then that's what the client's comfortable with. And I know people say, nope, I'm still going to do it anyways. You do you, and I'm going to zoom in. And we're going to try the Profusion highlight today because it's here and I feel like it's giving. It's giving. God, it's giving. It's giving. It's giving. But we're just going to get let's see what brush. Oh, I'll use this brush. And so instead of contouring, I love a good highlight. So let's just see how, oh, it's got like a pinky color to it too. So yeah. Just gonna brush it in there just a little bit. And we're gonna lighten it up right in there. And it's got like a pink hue to it, which I like. It's a very pretty highlight too. It gives my nose that little. Someone says to me one time, "You always highlight the tip of your nose. It'd be so cute." But why are you mad, Susan? It's my nose. Like, can I do that? Sometimes people say stuff, and you be like, "But what is the problem?" I might. No, I'm just gonna put a highlight on today. So I'm just gonna get a bigger brush. And we're gonna highlight right up in there. I don't always need to be like full glam, and I think people are like this, but I do like a good highlight. Remember the thing about highlight is you can see, but you can't. You can't see, but you can. You don't walk in a room like she's highlight to have you see those angles. You see me. So if I, okay, we see you. I know you do. There we go. And I'll end up puffing my puff. Oh, that highlight can be really like, stop playing. Just gonna, I'm gonna put my hand on here. And then I'll dust it in there. And I'm just blending it in there so it blend. I'm circling in it and then blending it outwards so it blends out into my skin so it don't look like she just put a puff of highlight in there. Thank you, Flo. I appreciate that. I hope your day is well and blessed as well. So we're just highlighting today. We're not doing a big glam, but I'm just debating, Flo, if I'm want to do lashes. And I kind of do. I have a couple sets just needing one last run. I don't know if you all take off your lashes. I do at night. And I'll try to give them 2 or 3 wears. So I'll say one last run or something. So we're just going in with that. It's just a highlight. It's really just highlight on my face. Nothing major. Let me see if there's a different brush. I think so, Flo. You are right. Thank you. I really think so. I think it'll make it go. So we're just gonna, and then what I'm going to do, I'm gonna give it a spray. Today I'm gonna use the Milani Make It Last Matte. Oil Control, Mattify, Set Control, 16-hour wear, but we only need it for about 8. I really, we're just gonna spray on one side, get it good. I'm one of those people that will spray, and I mean spray. And I'll spray this side too. And we'll get it. I be spraying. Now, one thing you'll see about me is I'm a lip gloss girl. I love a good gloss. Or if I'm not doing gloss, I gotta have like a good matte. A good matte lip, oh, is everything to me. Like your lip, if it's a good matte, oh, can't go wrong with a good matte lip. You guys don't forget to subscribe. And for that, I appreciate. Look at that. Whew. Just gonna kind of blend it and tap that top. Just to get that in there. And I'll probably go over just a little bit. Just to give it a quick dry. Quicker dry. I love, I love a good gloss. I really, really do. People are like, oh, you're not gonna put on? Nope, not today. That's got a little powdery to it. That little look. That but we'll fix it. We don't like too much powder, but we'll fix it. And I'm not gonna overdo my eyes because when I overdo my eyes, it's so bad. Just gonna go. It has like a little powdery thing to it. Ooh, that's a good matte, but I don't know if I like the powder of it. But we'll fix it. Got a good gloss here. Just gonna go a little touchy. It's a matte. It's definitely a matte.